in the industry. That's why service is our product at Bonniers, located at 1903 Dutch Lane in Jeffersonville. Call 812-283-6215. That's 812-283-6215. Online at Bonniers.com.
Dr. Carter's office, Annette speaking. How may I help you?
From your very first call through your dental exam and recare appointments, the warm personal care from Dr. Todd Carter and his friendly staff at Carter Family Dentistry will put you at ease. Dr. Carter can take care of you and your family's dental needs, from gentle cleanings to complex procedures. Call Annette or Joyce today at 812-944-5155 and see why 5 generations of patients still return to Carter Family Dentistry, located on Mount Tabor Road in New Albany.
Your friendly neighborhood Centra Credit Union here. Up for saving money? Visit Centra.org or a branch today for a free loan checkup. We'll look at what you're spending on loan payments at Centra or with other lenders, and if we can help you save money, we'll tell you how, because every nickel counts.
Jimmy, what I see there in your ear, it's a nickel. How'd it get there?
Even those nickels.
Save them up, and someday you'll be rich.
Centra Credit Union, centered around you. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity. All loans subject to credit approval.
Tonight's halftime report is brought to you by Centra Credit Union, centered around you. Find out about online banking and other services by visiting Centra.org.
Mike Beck, Jim Kazmarek here at Providence High School as we fight through some technical issues, and at least we got our screen back and camera back, so we're going to stay with this. Something, you know, hate to burst a myth, but even in broadcasting, we use computers, and our computers are and this particular type of computer is a Windows computer. The system decided to run a Windows update right before the game, and I tried to do everything I can to keep that from happening. It did it anyway, and apparently it didn't like the update, and we've been having some hiccups since the start of the second quarter, and so we're just going to battle through it and stay on the camera. So, Jim, it's just you and me, buddy.
well, you know, I don't know if we had this conversation before, but, you know, technology is very foreign to me, especially this kind of technology. It took me a long time to get away from my flip phone. A big leap in technology for me was when we went from chalk to dry erase boards. So what you're doing with that computer, Mike, is wizardry for me.
Well, right now I could use some chicken bones and a couple of peacock feathers and the eye of Newt, because I don't know what's going on. But let's talk about this game, and I'm going to, if you can, just kind of give us some of the stats and information you have first, and we'll start there.
All right, well, let's start with Providence since they're ahead.
All right.
Joe Dennis, 3 of 4 passing, but 66 yards. So when they do pass, they're passing for a lot of yardage. Kevin Smith had 1 rush for -1 yards. Caden Williams, the big ball carrier tonight, 8 carries for 119 yards. That's not a bad average.
No.
And Jeremy Gettelfinger, 3 carries for 64 yards. Caden's got 2 touchdowns, Gettelfinger 1. Receiving for Providence, Caden has 1 catch for 28 yards. Bryce Drury, 1 for 31 yards. James Hoke, 1 catch for 7 yards. And Providence has had 3 penalties for 15 yards. Linton Stockton, Trey Goodman, 4 of 9 for 62 yards, 1 touchdown. Lance Dyer is their leading receiver, 15 carries, 42 yards. Luke Lanham, 8 carries, 24 yards. Cash Howard, 4 carries, 21 yards. So they basically are a little bit below their season average as far as rushing is concerned. So Providence defense has done a great job. Receiving, Devin Robertson, who was their leading receiver coming into the game, 3 catches for 54 yards. And Avery Puckett, their tight end, 1 catch for 8 yards and a touchdown.
All right. Well, that's great. Thank you for those stats and some great information. Let's take a quick look at the scoreboard while we're talking about it. Get a scoreboard update here at halftime. A lot of games going on in the area, games that we're interested in. And scoreboard update tonight brought to you by State Farm agent Teresa Lamb of New Albany for great friendly service from someone you can count on. Call Teresa, 812-945-8088. Well, let's dial up some of those scores. What's going on out there?
Well, we have all halftime scores.
Okay.
Charlestown's leading Pekin Eastern 32-0. Jeff 28, Jennings County 0. Silver Creek 27, Corydon 7 at the half. A tight one, New Albany 7, Floyd Central 3 at halftime.
Close one.
Those are the scores we have right now for area teams.
So not any surprise. Charlestown, most people figured they would control that ball game. Great running attack and a lot of hope out there in Charlestown for postseason action. Silver Creek, really good ball club. Got upended by Brownstown Central last week, but played well in the second half and in many ways won that game in the second half. It was really a bad second quarter that did them in. And then New Albany, Floyd Central, that's a dog fight or a Highlander fight. It's a fight every time.
You know, it's just the old coaching saw that you throw out all the records, throw out the season. It's, you know, that's no matter how bad one team is or how good the other team is, it's going to be a fight right to the end.
Yeah, so that is the updates on score. One thing we'll go ahead and let you know as we look ahead to next week. We've got a little bit of a halftime break here as our commercials are somehow glitched out on us tonight, so we'll stay with the action. But next week, we go south of the border, and I mean the state border, that is. And we cross over into Kentucky. We'll head to North Oldham High School to check out the regular season finale for North Oldham as they host Franklin County. And Franklin County having a really good season. They've got some real talent in their backfield. Should be an interesting ball game. North Oldham hosting Franklin County. That's next Friday night, the 19th. And we'll be there to bring you that action back here. Halftime of this one, 28-7 as the teams come back out and begin their stretching to get ready for the second half. Some adjustments, some changes. What do you think you want to do differently if you're the Miners? Obviously, they trail by 3 touchdowns.
You've got to figure out a way to contain Providence's speed on the outside. Widen your defensive ends, stand them up, bring your outside linebackers up a little more, some way or another to stop that outside running game. Inside, the way their 5 down linemen are playing, they've pretty much stopped Providence's inside game, but Providence's running backs are just beating them so badly on the outside. So find out a way, some adjustment to make to contain that outside a little bit. Providence, I go out and say, oh my goodness sakes, do what you did the first half. Oh my goodness sakes, was a whole tray of cookies that just went past us.
It's wave cookies in front of a broadcaster. Yes. That's not right.
So I'm just telling them, boys, you played a great first half. Let's continue and get ready for the sectional. So I'm not making any adjustment if I'm Providence.
Yeah, Providence, you got to be pretty happy with what you're seeing there.
Right. Now, interestingly enough, I have a history when we're going to Oldham County next week.
Yes.
I have a history there.
You have history.
And with Franklin County, too.
I'm never surprised.
We'll have to talk about that.
Tell us all about it.
Well, not now. We'll wait till next week. I can't tell you all my stories now. I have nothing to talk about.
Nothing to talk about. I understand.
Well, let's go back to talk about what you mentioned before about, you know, how teams go along as they get a little bit bigger. You seem to see more passing and less of a running attack.
Yeah.
Really, that's an interesting question. I've been pondering that the whole first half. I know the bigger schools have a larger selection of athletic kids to play. When you're passing a lot, you need to have some athletic kids. You have to have obviously a great quarterback who can throw the ball. Quarterbacking now is a kind of a year-long thing. Kids go to passing camps all summer. But that doesn't mean a kid from a two-way school like Linton can't go to a passing camp and become a great passer too. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I always said it was harder to coach a running attack because there were so many variables that you had to deal with the linemen and the blocking and different fronts you saw. It was so much easier to coach a passing attack. I loved when we went to a pure passing attack back for a couple years. when we ran out of option quarterbacks, and we did it by necessity. It was very easy coaching. The offensive linemen, very simple coaching. Pass blocking is easy to teach. You're not aggressive. You're very passive. You're waiting for the defender to attack you, and kids love throwing the ball. They love to chuck it around, and that's a lot of fun for kids. They didn't mind staying after practice to work on passing. They loved coming before practice to work on their passing. Practices were fairly simple. We didn't spend a lot of time on offense because we didn't have to. The kids knew the pass routes. The linemen knew who to block. It was, just very interesting. Now, what we did see, because we were passing the ball a lot, we saw a lot of different defenses. We couldn't really predict what people were going to do against us because what they did the week before against the team that was running the wishbone, certainly they couldn't do it against us because we were going to throw the ball 45 times in a game. So
makes sense.
We had to be very flexible on how to attack defenses that we weren't really that prepared for. That's why our line blocking rules were so simple, and I guarantee it, if you talk to one of the kids that played offensive line during that 86-87 season, which goes back a long time ago, they would still remember the very simple line blocking rules for passing. Mo, me, mo. That was the rule. Mo, me, mo. Everybody can remember mo, me, mo.
Yeah. I knew some of those kids, so it was probably a challenge for a couple of them. But yeah.
So when you see this, the teams like Providence or Linton or a single A school or even a 4A school that runs the ball a lot, that's a lot of coaching. There's a lot of things that go into that. I think actually, when you're looking at this, I think these coaches are doing a more difficult job teaching running attack the way they're doing it.
Yeah, and you see it in the smaller schools, Brownstown Central, not the smallest of schools,
right,
but a small community and not a lot of pool to draw from, and yet consistently have a great program. Linton, Stockton, Southridge, you see a lot of these schools, same boat. Second half kickoff here, little pooch kick. Gettelfinger takes it at the 31. And gets back to the 35, and that's going to be where they start 1st and 10. The Pioneers will get going here in the second half. They lead by 3 touchdowns, 28-7. They scored 3 in the first quarter, and then it was back and forth in the second. The Miners finally got on track and was able to march down, courtesy of a penalty, fourth down penalty, which produced a first down and kept the drive alive. But a relatively error-free ball game. There's been a few miscues, but nothing out like we saw a couple weeks ago.
Yep. We've had 1 fumble and 3 penalties, so it's been a very clean game.
Dennis hands off Williams, nowhere to go. He's going to reverse field. Nice call. If he can get to the corner, couldn't quite get there. Great defensive stand for the defensive end on the far side, and I didn't catch his number, for him to stay home.
And the right defensive end did a great job of turning him back inside. And you're right, the number 51, the defensive end on the left side, and that would be Dalton Smith.
Yeah.
Dalton Smith. You're right, stayed at home and waited for Williams to come back to him.
Second down and 9. Dennis in the shotgun puts a man in motion. Caden Williams again. This time runs back to his right. Straight ahead, he'll pick up positive yards, but it'll be 3rd down and about 4 or 5.
Caden Williams on the carry. Gets the ball over the 40-yard line. Chase Howard to make the stop.
And they'll spot it at the 42. That'll be a...
Give him a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, 3rd and 4.
3rd and about 4.
Miners would love to get a quick 3 and out here, get the ball back, and keep attacking that defense. Pioneers, on the other hand, like to run that clock. Gettelfinger runs into the quarterback, and that really messed up the timing. He's going to be short of the first down by at least a couple. And the Pioneers going to have to punt it away. Schaefer comes out to do the honors.
So, a great way to start the second half for Linton Stockton. Come out and 3 and out for Providence. two really good defensive stops. So that's a good, maybe they made some adjustments.
Lannon deep to return the kick. Schaefer back for the Pioneers to put it in the air. Gets it away with no problem. A lot of air on this one. And it's going to get a good Pioneer bounce and inside the 15 where they'll down it at the 14. Nice punt.
Nice punt. Very nice punt.
And that's how you win the field position game.
Yep. A very nice punt.
Now the Pioneers going to make the Miners have to go a long way. And one of the things they need to do is shut down that pass. The play-action pass has kind of burned them a few times after the first quarter. 1st and 10, ball at the 14.
Well, we said that would be Linton Stockton would be able to run those play-action passes.
Lannon on the carry. He'll pick up 5 out to the 19, 2nd and 5.
The 19-yard line and pick up about 5. Kevin Smith and Nolan McCain.
You know, I always wonder, and I'm always a thinker when I was a player, and that was one of the things I always did. I always tried to outthink my opponent because I wasn't the biggest guy, and I figured I wasn't going to outmuscle him most of the time. So if you can outsmart him or outthink him, you had a little bit of advantage. Pass play. Goodman runs around, escapes the defender, Hoke, but Hoke finally gets back to him and brings him down. He'll pick up a couple of yards on the scramble. Goodman out across the 20 to the 22, where it'll be 3rd and 2. Do you think kids, when they see they're up by 3 touchdowns, and here it is early in the 3rd quarter, they start backing off a little bit?
Yeah, they relax, and that's one of the hardest things for coaches to do is to get the kids to focus and keep playing hard. Come on, coach, we're up by 4 touchdowns. Come on. And to get the kids to keep their foot on the gas and keep going is hard to do.
A killer instinct is what I call it, and a lot of kids, I don't think, understand that. And I've seen the results of it many times.
Well, you know, the philosophy, if you have them down, keep them down. Don't let them back up. Don't let them get back into the game.
Timeout taken by the Miners.
And since we're not doing a commercial break, it's hard to regain your momentum.
Right.
Providence had momentum in the first quarter, carried it into the second quarter, and then kind of let things slip away a little bit. It's hard to regain that momentum.
Right. You know, and that becomes so important in the postseason because every possession, every score becomes critical, and you give anybody a glimmer of hope, they'll seize on it and do everything they can. And a team like Linton Stockton, a program that has won the state title and recently, these kids remember that.
Right.
The seniors, the upperclassmen remembered. Even the underclassmen knew many of the kids that won that trophy. And so they want to be a part of that legacy. And once you have that success, it kind of builds on itself.
Right.
And they know how to finish, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And,
they may be down now, but let's see what happens at the end of this game. See how much of that they have in them.
Pioneers, big 3rd down play here. They're going to get the first and more. Lannon out across the 35 before he's brought down at the 40-yard line.
17.
Big run.
Yep, 17 yards.
They'll move the chains. Clock stops as they move the chains and get them set. Miners offense runs a no huddle, so they just come up to the line. They're all looking at their wrist. They just calling out a number or a name, more than likely.
Yeah, it could be a little more complicated than that. Sometimes they have.
Going to pass. He's going to pull it down and try to pick it up on his feet. Oh, and Trey Goodman gets a hit.
Took a shot, but he gained 15 yards.
That's one of the things you like the quarterback using his head, making a good run to pick up the yards.
But don't use your head when you're tackled.
Yeah, don't get hurt in the play. Out to the 44-yard line, 1st and 10. Pioneers on their heels a little bit this drive. Miners come up, man in motion. Dyer with the carry, and this time nothing there. Maybe a yard. It'll be 2nd and long.
Lance Dyer on the carry, short yardage.
You got to keep trying to hit that. That opens up the other things, especially the play-action pass.
one of the things when we're watching Lytton Stockton play, they do a really nice job of pulling their offensive linemen. Their two guards do a lot of pulling and leading as leading blockers. They do a really nice job with that. I'm really impressed with that. I like watching offensive line play like that.
Well, you've got a history there.
Yep.
Cash Howard with the pitch goes to the left side, being pursued. Maybe a couple more. It'll be third and long. You're an old lineman yourself, though, right?
I'm a very old lineman, yes.
I didn't mean that as age.
But it's true.
Yeah, just meaning that you didn't do it last year, right?
And you know, I was an offensive lineman. I was a center in high school. I was a center in college. I played both ways in high school. Of course, you know, back then everybody did because you couldn't really substitute a lot. That's how old I am. There used to be a rule back then that you could only make 2 substitutions a quarter.
3rd and 7. Goodman going to pass, and he's in trouble. And he can't escape. We got a flag come in late. And maybe a holding penalty. That would be bad, but I'd take the down if I'm the Pioneers.
I would too.
I'm assuming it's holding. We haven't seen the call yet.
Yeah, it is holding. There, Coach Dennison signaling decline the penalty. He's going to make it 4th and 10.
4th and something.
Yeah.
See where they spot the ball. I think they're going to put it down.
He's standing on the 45, so it's going to be 4th and 11.
Yeah, they put it down.
They're going to punt this time.
They stick it on the 46 now. So you're right, it's 4th and long, and it's going to be a punting situation for the Miners. They haven't done this too often tonight.
So going back to what we were talking about, center in high school, center in college. When I first got into coaching, I coached a freshman team and coached everything because you were the freshman coach. Oh.
Nice punt.
Yeah, beauty.
Through the hands of Bishop Edwards, it's loose.
Looks like Providence recovered it, but boy, they lost some field position there.
Lack of concentration. He tried to call fair catch and nearly lost it. Bishop Edwards gets back on top of it. 1st and 10 ball. About the 6, maybe 7-yard line. We'll have to see.
He looked like he was a little indecision whether or not to call for the fair catch or not, and he called for it late. And I actually think that calling for it late probably caused him not to concentrate like he would have normally on a catch and a run. So then I coach defense, and when I coach defense, I set up defenses and coach defenses based on what used to give me a lot of trouble when I was an offensive lineman. So I thought if this gave me trouble, it's probably going to give other people trouble also. So the defenses we did and the things we did on defense were based a lot on what I thought was difficult for me to do.
Dennis hands off straight up the middle. I believe that's Gettelfinger on the carry, and not much room there to work. They'll pick up a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8. But when you're pinned back this far, you just want to have a few solid runs up the middle. Try to pick up 3 or 4 at a time if you can.
Throw it deep. Throw it one time. Just loosen them up. Throw it deep.
Of a couple yards. It's about the 9-yard line. 2nd down and 8.
Dennis had a couple of nice pass plays, and they've had some opportunities.
Yeah.
Certainly have the speed on the outside. Man in motion. Gettelfinger takes the pitch, and nothing doing. No gain on the play. It'll be 3rd and 8.
And Lytton Stockton looks like a different team, don't they?
Swarming on defense.
They are swarming. They look faster. They look quicker. They look more confident. All the plays that worked well for Providence in the first half look not so good right now.
They're swarming, and it's making the difference.
And you know now, and this may not be the time to do it, but when you get teams that are flowing so quickly to where the football is, any kind of counter play or reverse play is going to really be good.
Caden Williams takes the handoff all by himself. He gets to the edge. Striff arms, comes back to the middle. He has to be careful not to lose the ball.
Yeah.
Because that's when you can get in trouble. He was out there all alone. Great run out to the 30. I say mark at the 34-yard line.
25-yard gain. Now, interesting, we just talked about a counter play or a reverse.
Yeah.
That wasn't a counter play or reverse until Caden reversed it and countered it himself.
Yeah.
And you saw the result there.
He made it a counter.
Yeah, he did. He did. But Linton Stockton's players now are flowing so quickly to the football. Any kind of counter, reverse play, bootleg pass is going to be very effective.
1st and 10, ball at the 34, man in motion. Fakes it, going to be a pass. Dennis has a receiver, and Kettlefinger had Butterfingers that time in his hands, and he dropped it. You know, you got to catch those balls when they hit both hands. There's simply no excuse.
Yeah, both hands.
And good defensive coverage, but there was no reason not to make that catch. He just simply dropped it.
That was a good pass, too. Got his feet set and threw a nice pass, had time.
It was right about a 10, 11-yard pass. It would have been a first down, but it's a 2nd and 10.
Sometimes those easiest catches are the hardest to make.
They're going to try again. This time Dennis gets it out to Drury, but the pass was a little slow getting there and a little low, and Drury had to go down and get it and didn't give him much opportunity to react to the ball.
To the 38-yard line.
They'll spot it at the 38. We'll give him 4 yards on the pass. It'll be 3rd and 6. A couple of passing plays here may slow down that defense a bit. Will that open up the running play right now?
No, I don't think so, because I don't think Linton is that concerned with Providence passing game.
Stacked 6 men across the front. Joe Dennis going to look and throw it down the field again. This time it's tipped and incomplete, and that's going to be a 4th down, and the Pioneers have to punt it away. Worst possible scenario if you're a Pioneer, incomplete pass on 3rd down, stops the clock, and now you got to kick it away. Miners are starting to figure out the offense of the Pioneers, but the problem is they haven't been able to get on the scoreboard other than that one time in the 2nd quarter. And they're going to start running out of time here because they don't have what we call a quick hit offense.
No, they don't. They don't have an offense that's built to get scores quickly.
Snap a little bit low. Schaefer
Another
gets
nice
it.
Kick. Woo.
Fair
Beautiful
catch
kick.
Called for.
Beautiful punt. 10.
Yeah, that is
40-yard punt. It's 2 40-yard punts he's had.
Schaefer's got a nice leg and used it all that time. Down at the 24-yard line, it'll be 1st and 10. Again, he's helping the Pioneer cause with field position on those long punts. No return, and you got to love that as a coach.
Yep. High and long. It's always good.
It's so hard sometimes to find a high school kid that has a leg that can do that. Straight ahead, Cash Howard on the left side of the offensive line. Gets about 6 yards. It'll be 2nd and 4. You know, I don't know how Providence is going to do offensively from here on out, but really what I'm looking at is, can the Miners get down the field enough times to score to catch up? They're down by 3 scores right now. Goodman going to put it in the air, has a receiver. Howard. And what a hit.
Catch. What a. That was a catch. Oh, no.
They said it was incomplete.
Oh, no, that's a catch. That's a catch. That's a catch.
The side judge said it was incomplete.
Yeah, no, this judge, this ref right down here, the back judge called it incomplete. That is a catch, and you can take a look at it right here.
It was one heck of a hit.
That is.
But they say it's incomplete, and therefore it's incomplete.
It's incomplete.
And that is a frustrating thing if you're a Miner fan, because you really feel like you had that one. And I can understand why they'd say that. Howard took a big hit, though, on that play. Running play this time, Lanham.
Luke Lanham close to first down yardage.
We'll see where they spot it. Nolan McCain and Bishop Edwards on the stop. They'll spot it. Now they spot it out at the 35. I think that was a generous mark.
Yeah.
Maybe making up for.
That was way generous.
That was about 1.5 yards beyond where he was down.
That was way generous.
Well, you know, they're refs. They're human.
That's right. It's a human game. That's why I don't like instant replay.
1st and 10. Cash Howard takes the handoff. He stood up, and he stopped. Peyton DeLucio decided to push him the other direction. Nolan McCain, I'm sorry. I thought it was DeLucio.
Nolan McCain does such a good job of keeping his shoulders square and containing his area. Just kind of pushed the blocker back into the ball carrier.
Loss of almost 3. It's going to be 2nd and 12. Make it, 2nd and long 12. Goodman under center is going to roll to his right, put it in the air, has a receiver. Robertson makes an incredible catch over the defender, Caleb McCubbins, who did everything but get his autograph down there. And wow, that was a great catch.
That was a wonderful catch.
Devin Robertson. Minute 8 to go, and a 1st and 10 inside the 25-yard line down to the 24. Miners, they do have a little bit of a quick head offense here. Second man through. Dyer on the carry. He gets down to about the 21 before they get him stopped. It picks up 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Under a minute to go in the 3rd quarter.
Goodman throws a nice pass. He's got a nice arc and lets his player run under the ball. Providence on that long pass play, their defender was in a perfect position. It wasn't like he was out of position. The ball was just perfectly thrown.
Yeah, it was just the way you draw it. It's just hard to do in the high school level. Howard going to pull it down, make a run for it. Great defensive stop there on the corner. Caleb McCubbins comes flying up and puts a hit on him.
Caleb McCubbins puts the hit.
I tell you, the Pioneer defensive backs will come flying in and put a lick on you if they get a shot.
They sure will.
3rd and 5, and that's going to be the end of the 3rd quarter. We'll take it to the 4th. We're going to stay right here as we've had some technical glitches, and therefore I don't trust that we'll have a break if we go to it, so we'll just stay here.
Or we might not get back.
Yeah, that's the other part.
Yeah.
I'd rather not have that problem. So let's talk about what we've seen here. It does give us a chance to ponder a bit. Miners, you got to think they have the momentum, and even though they trail by 3 scores, if I'm Providence, I got to be over there getting my kids to get fired up, say, listen, finish this game.
Yeah, and again, the momentum is with Littenstock. You know, old momentum. He puts on jerseys very quickly.
He changes jerseys
and
all the time.
He obviously was in the Littenstockton locker room and put on a white jersey, and he is now on their team. Providence needs to get him back on their team because, unfortunately for Linton Stockton, they may have let the game get out of hand too quickly in the 1st quarter for them to make a big enough comeback. But they sure are outplaying Providence right now in the 2nd half.
It's been a good ball game after that 1st quarter. Providence, and not to say Providence played bad in this the remainder of the way, but the Miners have really kind of gotten on track here in the 2nd quarter, and they've played a duel so far. 21-0 in the 1st.
You got a couple updates?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Fire it up.
Silver Creek 34, Corydon 7 with 8-11 in the 4th quarter. Charlestown 52, Pekin Eastern 0. Final score.
Goodman brought down by Bishop Edwards. Big sack there. And that's going to make it 4th and long. Went from 3rd and 2
that's
to 4th and long.
Now, there you go. See, Mo just put on a blue jersey.
He did.
Now, that'll fire up their whole Providence team.
Ball back to the 29-yard line. 4th and 14. And they definitely have to go for it here in the 4th quarter. Goodman rolls out again. He's going to try to put it in the air, find some room, has some room to run. Can he get to the 1st down marker? Gettelfinger there to stop him. He gets to the 15, but he's going to be short.
Close.
Down to the 15-yard line, just short.
We'll see where they spot it.
He needed a 15-yard run. I think he got 14 3/4.
And it's not going to be enough. It's going to be a Providence 1st down.
Was good for 14.
He was close.
He made a gallant effort.
James Hope.
Gettelfinger really the Johnny on the spot on that play. He got him there, stopped his forward progress, and waited for help to arrive to finish him off. But if Gettelfinger hadn't shown up when he did, it would have been a 1st down. 1st and 10 Pioneers. That may have been the play of the game. Gettelfinger takes a pitch, trying to get to the left side. That's more like what we saw in the first quarter. Out across the 20, and it'll be second and about 5-yard gain for Gettelfinger. They'll put a ball down at the 21. Now, if I'm the Pioneers, I'm telling my quarterback, use the game clock.
Right.
Milk it. You're not in a hurry. You got a 3-touchdown lead, and you got the ball.
Yep. Let's march it down the field. Get 5 yards at a crack.
Take every second you can. Dennis puts a man in motion. That's Caden Williams. Takes the handoff. Looks for a seam. Doesn't find anything.
He lost a little bit there.
Williams on the carry drop for a loss on the play. Brought down by
They're going to lose lost two.
Ball back to the 19-yard line. A loss.
That was a slow developing play. That
didn't look real good.
No, that looks like one I might want to put back in the playbook for a while. Work on that on Monday.
3rd and 7. Now instead of chewing up clock, you want to pick up a first down.
Right.
So, one bad play kind of messes up the whole rhythm of the thing here. Motion man is Williams. They drop Dennis in trouble. He gets it away, and Gettelfinger can't quite get to it. Low pass, incomplete. And it'll be 4th and 7. The Pioneers have to punt. And
so 2nd and 5. They run a kind of a double spinner of some sort or another. Loses 2 yards, 3 yards. They're forced to throw a pass, get under pressure. Clock is stopped. Like I say, Litton's got the momentum again.
Yeah, once again, the Pioneers did about everything that you shouldn't do if you're really trying to finish strong. They made a few tactical errors, I would say. But a nice punt from Schaefer. It's going to hit and get a great Pioneer bounce.
As a coach, Mike, as a coach, that would have drove me crazy. You just gave up 15 yards of field position by not catching that ball.
Luke Lannon was deep.
And it was a catchable punt. It wasn't a exceptionally long punt or a strange wobbling punt.
No. 1st and 10 at the 34. Luke Landon was the deep man, and he decided to let it go. And again, that's one of those quick judgment calls that he's one of the team captains. You think he's the one that will make the right choice or the right call. That time, perhaps not.
Yeah. Now he's a junior, so he has another year to learn.
Yeah, he needs to cook just a little longer. Goodman under center, quick pitch. Oh, Dyers, he's a slippery little cuss.
He was. he made. He made 3 or 4 unbelievable cuts for a 4-yard gain. He earned every one of those yards.
If I gave that guy a red cape, he looked like he was doing a bullfight out there. He did an olay there a couple times.
He did. He olayed a couple tacklers.
I don't know if that's politically incorrect now to even mention that, but who knows?
I don't know. We'll hear about it on Facebook.
Yeah. 2nd and 6. Dyer again runs into his own man. That's really the only thing that slowed him down and helped the defense figure out where he was at. But still picked up positive yards. Out to the 41. It's going to be 3rd and 3. 4th quarter, 9 minutes and some change.
See, and I think now, Mike, that Linton Stockton's probably in 4. Everything's going to be 4 down territory for him.
Goodman under center, puts a man in motion. Straight ahead is Lannon, and he'll have the first down out across the 44 to the 45. They'll move the chains. Clock will stop as they set the ball, and they put it right on the 45. And the clock starts once again. Miners quickly in their stance. Defense a little slow in getting set. Now everybody's ready. Goodman drops back, short drop, going to put it up. And it's incomplete. The receiver really did more damage than good that time. He pulled up too soon.
Yeah, he jumped when he probably should have taken 2 or 3 more steps.
Yeah, he should have ran to the ball. And but anyway, incomplete pass. That'll stop the clock. 2nd and 10.
Oh, you were asking about the cards before. Sometimes the cards might just have like 10 plays on it. The coach will just signal 1, 2, 3, 10, whatever it might be. Sometimes they get very complicated.
Straight ahead. Lannon.
Ooh, good run.
Did a hurdle. And he's going to drive backwards and loses the ball. And the Pioneers recover the fumble. And that is going to be huge.
After the run by Luke Lannon, the ball was fumbled and recovered.
That's a shame, all that extra effort, and you lost the ball.
For the Pioneers.
And number 5 is not on my roster, so I'm not sure who that was for the Pioneers on the fumble recovery.
And he is not on my roster either.
So,
Pioneers take over on their own.
ask the announcer. Maybe he knows what that.
Who recovered that?
Number 6.
Oh, number 6.
Who's that?
I don't have him on my roster either.
There he is, right here.
Oh, Drake McKisson.
Okay.
Oh, my.
Bad play that time for the Pioneers. They went the wrong way. Miners may have lost the ball, but they're still getting the yards in the right direction. 6-yard loss. That'll be 2nd and 16. Coach Dennison can't be real happy with what he's seeing offensively.
Loss of 6 yards on the play.
Other than the first quarter and then into the second, they've been quiet offensively. Yes. Credit the Miner defense and their adjustments. Man in motion is Gettelfinger. He'll take the pitch. Gets past the 1. And maybe back the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah. Well, Linton Stockton has made the adjustments, and they've stopped their Providence's wide game.
3rd and 16.
Drake Cunningham making the stop for Linton.
Bishop Edwards in the ball game for the Pioneers. Joe Dennis comes over to the coach, gets the play. He'll run out and try to execute. What do you think this is going to be a pass?
No, I don't. Actually, I don't think it's going to be a pass. I think it's going to be a draw play, or if it is, it's a screen or a shovel pass.
Okay.
Because it's going to be some very safe pass play.
A little pitch to Caden Williams is what it is. Gets through 1. Stays in bounds. That's about the only thing good that happened that time.
Yep.
Lost some yards. Chewed up some clock, but they're going to have to punt it away. 4th and long.
He lost 4. Go back to those cards. Sometimes they'll have colors. Yellow, red, green, and it might be yellow 1, green 5. And the coaches on the sideline will have these colored cards with numbers on them. And the players all looking. It's green 6, so they'll look on their card and see what green 6 is.
Oh, well, that's too complicated for me.
See, it's high tech.
4th and 19.
Providence will be.
We had a Pioneer take a step.
Yeah.
And now tack another 5 on.
Start against the Pioneers.
4th and 19 becomes 4th and 24, and makes it harder for Brandon Schaefer to get a good kick here.
Ball back to the 20.
They're really relying on his leg tonight to try to finish this game. 6 minutes to go. You got to think Providence probably going to win this game, but
boy, they've gotten sloppy though.
But they've really they've not demonstrated that they know how to finish.
Right. They've gotten a little sloppy here.
Nice kick from Schaefer.
What is it?
Lannon decides to take it on the bounce and will be tackled about the 46 or 47-yard line.
Brought down by
I don't know.
Just makes you laugh, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking. It was just very strange. It looked like he was thinking about making a fair catch, but then didn't raise his hand. Then he tried to get out of the way of the ball, but didn't, and decided to catch it on the bounce, which would drive the coach crazy.
And that's why we love high school football.
Yes.
1st and 10. Motion man is Dyer. Takes the pitch. Tries the right side. Finds some room. And gets a nice gain there. Stays in bounds, though. 2nd and short.
We got a couple players down. Providence player down on the field.
44-yard line.
See who it is.
Nope, he's up.
James Hope, the dinged up player, now have to leave the field for one play. I don't think he's hurt that bad, but
well, he's played a whale of a game, so they really can't afford to have him not in there.
No. They're very quick these days to stop that. Used to be you'd give the guy a chance to get up and shake it off.
Not anymore.
But nobody walks it off these days. Hoke comes out. He'll be out for at least one play. 2nd and 1, short yardage situation here. And they're going to go play action. Great defensive play, taking away the route. Colin Flake out there on the corner and basically just got in front of the receiver and impeded his lane.
Yeah, he did a really nice job of playing cornerback. And that's exactly what you want to do. Stay between the receiver and the football.
Yeah, he just used his body as a shield without creating a pass interference situation. 3rd and 1. Great time for a pass with 2nd and short there.
It was, yes.
1st down play, and they got it. Down inside the 40, just across the 40-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, but it's just not going to happen tonight, I'm afraid, that they're running out of time. And they move the ball and spot it at the 40. 1st and 10, Miners. 5 minutes to go here in the ball game. Goodman drops back, going to put it in the air. Bishop Edwards in quick. And he took a hit, but goes down. And a lot of hard hits tonight, but a lot of clean ones.
Oh, yeah. No penalties of unsportsmanlike conduct, unnecessary roughness, targeting. We don't have any of that in this game.
That's great. And refreshing, isn't it?
Yes, very refreshing.
2nd and 7. Goodman going to put it in the air again. Hoke right there. Knocks the ball loose. It's on the ground. Who got to it? Did Hoke get it as well? They say it was a minor ball. The Pioneers are certain they got it. Now they just, sometimes the ball will change hands in that pile. I've been under there.
It's been known to happen.
This is a family broadcast, so I won't say, but all kinds of things happen at the bottom of that pile.
A lot of them not so nice.
Yeah.
But you're right. The ball can change hands 3 or 4 times.
It sure does. 3rd and 13. Goodman gives it to Dyer, and he's eaten up for lunch in the backfield. Great defensive penetration. Sam Hudlin and others made a big push, and that'll bring up 4th and 16.
Well, you saw how important that James Hoke was to Providence's defense on that sack of the quarterback. Like I say, they could ill afford to not have him on the field.
Obviously a passing situation, or you might think that's what they're going to do here. 4th and 16. Game on the line. Goodman looking for somewhere to go. Not a lot of room. Dances around and finally gets pushed out of bounds, but it's going to be Pioneer ball with 3:19, and that may do it.
That might do it. What you'd want to see on your quarterback when he's scrambling is to be looking upfield. Look upfield, see where your receivers are at. Receivers run to where the quarterback is going.
Yeah.
And this quarterback was looking at the Providence defenders on how not to be tackled instead of looking upfield for my receiver.
Yeah. Once he became a runner, he really had lost the ability to put it downfield. Right. Pioneers take over at the 41-yard line, 1st and 10. You got to believe they're going to keep it on the ground here.
Yes.
Be very deliberate. Caden Williams breaks free, and he breaks loose. And it's going to be a 59-yard touchdown run. And that will break the back of the Miners, I'm afraid. Caden Williams really putting on a show.
Yeah, he stopped at the line of scrimmage. Kept his feet moving. He was almost horse tackled on the 40 and broke that.
34-7. Schaefer in to try to get the extra point. He's 4 for 4 so far tonight. Andrew Henderson to hold. Snap, the hold, and the kick. And a late flag comes in. And this
roughing the kicker.
Going to be against the Miners. That'll be assessed on the kickoff, I'm sure, which means Miners are going to start deep or at their 20.
Well, for them, that's deep, unfortunately.
Yeah. And that may just be enough for the Pioneers to avenge the loss last year on the road. They come home and defend their turf. This series will be tied 1-1. They've played twice. They've split it.
Well, this looks to me like a series that could continue on. Two nice rivals. They played each other in playoffs. They played a nice game tonight. A good game, well-played game, clean game. I know the problem is probably the distance between the two schools. It's tough to get to Linton from here, as Linton found out coming to Providence.
Yeah, imagine.
But it looks like be a nice rivalry game.
Yeah. Schools seem to be evenly matched. And right now, Providence obviously has the advantage tonight, but last year it was a different story.
Sure.
And, smaller schools, sometimes it's hard to find teams that are consistently at your level. Schaefer approaches.
It is, and a lot of times, like Providence has found here.
Lannon drops it at the 2, picks it up. Gettelfinger going to drag him down inside the 10.
And they didn't need that either. So, the Providence runs into that problem here because all the schools around here, except for Clarksville, are bigger than them.
Yeah, and usually a lot bigger.
Yeah, so, I know they don't have Jeff on their schedule anymore. Do they still play Clarksville?
They do. They do play Clarksville.
Well, that's the city championship game.
Yeah. It's kind of lost its luster as of late.
Yeah,
but Clarksville almost got a win last week against Corydon, so they're coming around.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Straight ahead for the handoff, and the Pioneer defense stiffens. A yard gain for Lannon, and a yard is not going to get it done. Under 3 minutes to go. Clarksville is there's restocking, reloading, rebuilding. I'm not sure what the re-word is that they're doing, but they're making progress. They put up, I think, 21, 24 points against Corydon last week. A little
swing pass.
Yeah. Dyer, he stayed in bounds trying to pick up some more yards. Got it out to the 25-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. Under 2.5 to go.
It's good enough for first down yardage.
1st and 10 Miners. The Providence going to go to 7-2 on the season. Their first 7-win season since 1998. So 20 years.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Goodman drops back. Little pressure. He's scrambling. And is that a lateral?
Yes, it was a lateral.
And it's out of bounds, so it'll stay ball. Oh my goodness! Final scores coming in. We'll have to update folks once this one is over what those are. Some surprising scores. 2nd and 13. Goodman drops back. It's going to put it in the air. Robertson makes a great catch.
What a nice pass and catch.
Double coverage, and he pulls that one down. Wow. Devin Robertson really has great hands.
He really does. He is
first down.
Yeah, 30-yard pass. Right on the money.
45-yard line of the Pioneers. Miners.
Looks like a little too late, though.
Yeah. Gets a nice block.
15.
That's Lannon.
Yep.
Down to the 30-yard line. 15 yards on the ground. But we're down to about a minute and a half in the game, and these are just style points at this point.
Brought down by Chris.
1st and 10.
Coach Coach Linton Stott, he's looking now at saying, let's run some plays that we'll see what they're going to look like for our playoff game.
Could have had a holding penalty there, but it wasn't flagged. You can see the blue jersey being pulled from behind, but the referee just wasn't interested in calling it. And I think at this point, unless it's flagrant, they're just going to kind of let it go and get this one done.
Yep, 1 minute left.
2nd and 8. Goodman going to drop back, quick pass out in the flat, and just a little off the mark, incomplete. Will stop the clock at 48 seconds. Miners will drop to 4-5 on the season. Certainly not up to their standard or their recent standards, but they play a tough schedule, so they build for the postseason.
Well, I think the coach would contribute to the record this year to playing that tough schedule.
Yeah, Cash Howard on that little was a pass, but it was a lateral, so it was more of a pitch than a pass.
32.
And got down inside the 15-yard line. 1st and 10. 35 seconds to go. Miners trying to get one more score on the board if they can. Pitch. Lannon, he's got the angle, and he's got the touchdown,
nice
too.
Run.
15 yards.
Scores the touchdown from 15 yards.
Academic.
Carries it in.
But you know what? If you score it, you still like it.
That's right. And it'll make the bus ride home a little more enjoyable. I'm sure the coach will take them somewhere for dinner tonight. It'll be a nice ride home. They've scored. They really played well from the middle of the second quarter until the breakaway long run by Williams.
Elmore's extra point goes through the uprights, which may complete the scoring tonight, 35-14. That doesn't look nearly as bad as 35-7.
No. Okay, you ready for some updates?
Sure, go ahead.
You want me to wait?
Well, we need some post-game stuff, so why don't we just hold off?
All right.
We're real close.
All right, I'll wait.
Since we're not going to be running any of our breaks because of the glitch, that will consist of our post-game. And then I have one more sponsor I need to read anyway.
I was going to say, are you going to read the commercials?
No. Yes. I will thank our sponsors, and we do have a lot of sponsors tonight, including Clark County Sheriff Jamie Knoll, Pat's Steakhouse, Vonier's Auto Air, Todd Carter Dentist, Centra Credit Union, State Farm Agent Teresa Lamb, Interstate Batteries, our title sponsor, Ron Grooms, candidate for State Senate, Dr. Rita Fleming, candidate for State Representative, District 71, The Locker Room.
Dale Orm. I saw him. Talked to him a couple weeks ago.
Onside kick. You got to expect it. High bouncing kick. Went up to get it. That's Hayden Burke. He took a shot in the back, but held on to it, and that's going to do it for the Miners. Providence just take a knee, and they'll finish the game out. Thank you to W.M. Kelly, another sponsor that's been with us all season long. Interstate Batteries, Packy Page, and CASA, Clark County CASA. So many of our sponsors, thank you for being with us tonight. Sorry for our technical issues. We do appreciate you and want you to know that, and we will make sure that we take care of our folks that take care of us. 35, I don't know why my score got glitched here. It's 35-14, but somehow it didn't show up on the screen. Been one of those nights. Now we get it right with 20 seconds to go.
There we go.
And that's going to do it. Providence avenges last season's loss. They get the big win tonight, 35-14. They finish the regular season 7-2, and you got to feel like they're going to be a team to contend with in the 2A sectional, which they open at home next week against Switzerland County. You got to figure they're going to be heavily favored in that one.
Yes, I would think so. Who would they play? Who else is in their sectional? Mike,
I believe Mitchell is in their sectional, Switzerland County, and I honestly don't know beyond that. I didn't prepare for that. I've covered a lot of ground this week, but that was one I didn't get a chance to look that up.
You Lenton fans, sectional starts next Friday as well. you will play at Forest Park.
As you work on that, I will go through some stuff here. I know you're trying to get
you can get the scores,
get some stats. So let's go ahead and our post game will be a little awkward or a little different for us tonight, simply because of technical issues with our system. So we will switch it to final. Take the clock off. But I'm kind of talking through it, folks, because we've had a computer crash on us, I think, 4 times tonight, and I don't want it to be 5. So we're going to try to get out of here without a mess. But let's go ahead and give you some final scores. And last look at the scoreboard tonight is brought to you by CASA, Clark County CASA. And let's go ahead and look at it. Clark County CASA, the final score is Charlestown, no problem tonight at home. They beat Eastern Pekin 52-0. Silver Creek gets the win on the road at Corydon 34-14. Jeffersonville gets back into the win column tonight in a big way. They really take it to Jennings County 56-7. But the score that might surprise a lot of folks and disappoint some, Floyd Central 17, New Albany 7, a final score. That powerful Bulldog offense shut down in the second half. They went into halftime with a 7-3 lead, and they were outscored by 2 touchdowns in the second half. That has got to be a disappointing end to a season that started with so much promise for the Bulldogs, opening up with 3 big wins in a row before they got upended by Bedford and Castle and Bedford and Columbus East
and Bloomington
North, and it just seemed to fall apart for the Bulldogs, and really kind of a difficult end. But again, that is your scoreboard update tonight, brought to you by Clark County CASA. Clark County CASA, you can become a volunteer, enrich the life of a child, 812-285-0743. We appreciate their support and for being with us tonight. Ashton Beck doing a fine job on the camera. Just a reminder, as Coach is doing his ciphering over there, a reminder that next week we'll be on the road in North Oldham High School. We're going to cross the river and watch Franklin County come into town. Franklin County, that is Frankfort, Kentucky, and they've got a really good football team this year. North Oldham going to try to defend their home turf in a big matchup. And so we'll bring that game to you live here on GLICOD.com. How's your ciphering going over there?
Quickly, I'm working as fast as I can.
I know you are. I'm thinking of everything I can say to say here as we have one of those nights, folks. Thanks to Bill Gates and Windows for messing us up. I have no love for anybody that designs computers. I don't care what kind of computer it is. Pioneers really happy tonight. Their best winning season, best record in 20 years. Regular season ends 7-2. And who did they lose to? Well, the Bulldogs and the Highlanders, who dueled tonight up in the Knobs. And New Albany drops back to 5-4. Floyd Central goes to 5-4. Well, the Floyd County schools, they know how to do it halfway. I don't know how to say it.
I don't either.
I didn't mean to be mean. I'm just like, you didn't expect the way it ended for them. Jeffersonville, I think they're going to feel good about the win they got tonight. Jennings County, not the strongest school in the conference, but the Red Devils really struggled at times this season. They're going to have a tough road in the postseason in that 6A sectional. I think Coach Gleasing's really just at this point looking ahead to next season and trying to figure out where he's going to go with that. Clarksville, don't know what happened to them tonight. We were not getting updates on the Generals. Don't know if they were able to get on the win column tonight or not. Let's hope they weren't playing Brownstown, because that would be awful. But the seniors are gathering up on the field for the Pioneers over in the north end zone, or the west end zone rather, and they're going to get a group photo, which is kind of nice, especially when you got a win under your belt. And that will show up on plaques and in pictures hanging throughout the school in years to come. People will walk by and they'll remember that moment as these seniors put a great finish to a long season. 7-2 record for the Pioneers. Coach Dennison, he's a patient man, has to be when you schedule the schedule like he's done, to know that you're going to, chances are you're going to open up with a knot or two on your forehead before you get your first win. And if you can beat one of those two schools, that's even better.
Well, that's how you present it to your players too. We're gonna go out here and play two really good teams. They're two teams that are bigger, have more players, more students. So let's just see how we do against this kind of competition, and we'll get better after this. Or, let's go out and play as hard as we can and win this game. And they play three tough teams right at the beginning of the season, and that certainly has helped them throughout the season. They end up with 7 wins in a row.
Yeah. Well, let's go through what stats you did. You did a lot of work. Let's make it pay off here. What do you got?
Well, Joe Dennis in the second half was only 1 for 4 for actually only 3 yards. Ended up 4 out of 8 for 70 yards for the game. Kevin Smith, 2 carries for a -7 yards for the game. He was 1 for 6 in the second half. Caden Williams had a big game today. He was 6 carries for 84 yards in the second half and 12 carries for 203 yards and 3 touchdowns. Big game for him. Big night. Yeah, big night. We're talking someone averaged about 18 yards a carry. So
it's pretty impressive.
Big night. Jeremy Gettelfinger, 5 carries for 8 yards in the second half, but a total of 8 for 72 and a touchdown for the game.
Yeah.
Caden Williams, 1 catch for 28 yards. Bryce Drury, 2 catches for 34 yards. James Hoke, 1 catch for 7 yards. And Providence had 3 penalties for 15 yards.
Just
very
3
clean.
penalties.
Yeah, 3. Yeah. Linton Stockton, Trey Goodman in the second half was 5 out of 9 for 107 yards. He threw some really nice passes, and his receivers made some nice catches for him. He ended up the night 9 out of 18 for 169 yards and a touchdown. Pretty good. That's pretty good passing for a team that's primarily a running team.
Yeah.
Trey Goodman did a lot of running in the second half. Not a lot of it wasn't because he wanted to. He had 9 carries for 11 yards. He had several nice long runs, but he had several nice, not so nice sacks.
Right.
Lance Dyer in the second half was 6 carries for 17 yards. He finished up the night 21 carries for 59 yards. Luke Lanham, second half, he was 10 carries for 64 yards and finished up 18 carries for 88 yards. Cash Howard, 4 of 8 in the second half, 8 for 29 yards for the game. Probably well below their rushing average for the game. They were coming in with 250 yards average. Real quick math here. They were down to about 160 yards for this game.
Well, a good defensive effort tonight from the Pioneers.
Oh, definitely.
You still get the sense they could play better, a more complete game. I think they like we talked about, they led off starting mid-second quarter, and they did enough in the fourth quarter to make sure they got the win. But you really felt like the players relaxed too much.
Right.
And you might be able to get away with that in the sectional, but if you want to go any farther than that, you've got to play complete football. If you want to win a state trophy, you have to play 4 quarters, 48 minutes, and not let up for a second, because you just don't win the big ones that way. Any final thoughts? Let's talk about outstanding player of the game tonight. Our outstanding players of the game, one from each school, is something we do every week. And our outstanding players brought to you tonight by Kentuckiana Oral Surgery. Kentuckiana Oral Surgery, 4 locations to serve you, including their brand new office behind Menards in Jeffersonville. And who gets the award tonight?
Well, this is going to be a surprise to you because it could very easily be Caden Williams. 12 carries, 203 yards. I tell you what, I really like the way that James Hoke played on defense at linebacker. He was as strong and on defense as you'd want your middle line. I like him. I'm going to pick James Hoke, and people would say, what a strange pick, but sometimes you just...
No, I think he was.
He was a force on defense.
He sure was. Well, congratulations, James Hoke. And how about for Linton Stockton Miners, who stood out?
Luke Lanham, I think, stood out best for them. 18 carries, 88 yards. I like Goodman. I like Trey Goodman. He passed the ball well for a team that's not a passing team.
Yeah.
But I'd have to go with Luke Lanham.
All right, they're your outstanding players of the game tonight. James Hoke of the Pioneers and Luke Lanham of the Miners. And with that, we're going to, I guess, put a bow on it. Any final thoughts on this one before we shut it off?
Well, final thoughts are I think Providence has got a good chance to make a long run in the playoffs. Not so sure about Linton Stockton. I think Providence showed some weaknesses, especially on their defense. Mm-hmm. But I think Providence has got a team that can make a long run. They just need, like you said, they need to finish. They need to put a whole game together. They came out so strong in that first quarter and even halfway through the second quarter. Yeah. And they just kind of laid down.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to the Pioneers. Best record in Southern Indiana this season in the regular season. Now it all resets to 0. They start all over again in the postseason. That's state of Indiana. Everybody gets one shot, and it's kind of an awkward thing as opposed to states like Kentucky where you have to earn the right to get into the playoffs. Here in Indiana, it's everybody gets one swing at it. Pioneers open at home next Friday against Switzerland County, and the heavily favored, and I think they're heavily favored all the way through their sectional.
Right.
And what'll be interesting is that 5A sectional with New Albany and Floyd Central, Castle, and whomever
Columbus
else.
East.
Columbus East, yeah.
Bedford.
Bedford, North Lawrence.
Yeah, that's a tough.
Murderer's Row.
Yeah, that is a tough sectional.
All right. Well, we will check in on that, but next week, again, we will be on the road at North Oldham High School. So tune in next Friday, 6:30 for pregame, 7 o'clock for kickoff. And let's see, final score, North Harrison knocks off Clarksville. Thanks to our producer, Steve Bird, Johnny on the spot. He heard us talking and went out and found that score for us. 47-6, North Harrison really took care of Clarksville tonight. So Clarksville ends the season at 0-9, but I think a lot of progress made. They scored some points this year. They're building a program, and let's just keep our fingers crossed that they keep it going in the right direction.
I know how difficult it is.
Yeah.
When I took over at Madison, they hadn't won a game in 3 years, and they hadn't scored a touchdown in the last 5 games of the season.
Oh, my. Well, and you're going in, don't call me because I'm retired.
That's right.
All right. Well, we'll see you folks next week at North Oldham High School. Until then, for all of us here, our producer Steve Bird, for Jim Kazmarek, I'm Mike Beck. Ashton Beck on our camera work tonight. It's been a pleasure. We're going to fire this last commercial break, and hopefully everything will work. And if not, we're just going to shut it down and go home. I hope you have a safe weekend, and we'll talk to you next Friday night. Till then, God bless. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, he came out. He was able to run the ball. We expect him to start doing that a little bit more to help us out.